So, as a part of our weekly discussion on writing mains answers, so we have taken this question from 2023 General Studies paper 2. So, where the question was like this: discuss the role of presiding officers of state legislature in maintaining order and impartiality, in conducting the legislative work and facilitating in best democratic practices. So, this question is asked. Okay. So we need to write all the dimensions of this question. One is role of presiding officers, in maintaining order and impartiality in legislature and facilitating in best democratic practices. Okay. So, what can be the role? What can be the role of the the presiding officers? So, when we require to write this answer, definitely we need to understand some basic aspect of the parliamentary form of democracy, right? So, here the parliamentary form of democracy has been adapted both at union level and also at the state level. Okay. Apart from that, we follow the federalism in the country. We follow the federal polity. Okay. So, in the federal politics, what will happen? So, there will be parliament at the union level, state legislature at the state level. Both are independent. Okay. So, none is superior to the other. Okay. So, how to ensure this kind of autonomous functioning of legislatures? Okay. For that requirement, there will be presiding officers. Okay. At the union level, presiding officers at the state level for the state legislature. For example, for the Lok Sabha, the presiding officers are speaker and deputy speaker. Okay. For the Rajya Sabha, the presiding officers include chairperson and deputy chairperson. Okay. For the state legislative assembly, the presiding officer is speaker and deputy speaker. Okay. Whereas for the state legislative council, it is chairperson and deputy chairperson. In this way, we have the presiding officers, right? You take any presiding officer for any legislature, he will be having certain fundamental functions. Okay, particularly in the parliamentary form of democracy. Why it is very much important in the parliamentary form of democracy, and why do we attach such importance to the presiding officers? The reason is, in the parliamentary form of democracies, the legislature is the most important organ because the executive is accountable to the legislature. Okay, the executive is accountable to the legislature, right? So, in order to uphold the executive accountability to the legislature, particularly state legislative assembly at the state level and Lok Sabha at the union level, definitely the role of the presiding officer is so crucial. Right? Moreover, the legislatures are nothing but representative institutions. Representative institution means, because our democracy is a representative democracy, our representatives are elected by the people, they will be choosing the government. Okay, and the elected government is accountable to them. So, in this process, the legislature must be the place for the deliberations, discussions, debates, questions and all these things. Okay. So, these are the tools, these are the methods, how do you extract the accountability from the executive. Okay. So, that is the reason why the legislatures must be functioning in a proper manner, in such a way that they will be able to extract fullest amount of accountability from the executive. In this process, the legislature has to conduct the discussion effectively. For that reason, the legislature must be having effective leadership. It must be having effective presidingship. Okay. So, that is to be given by means of presiding officers. That is why presiding officers have a crucial role in this process. They will facilitate the members to speak, they will facilitate the members to ask the questions to the government. They will facilitate the matters of the public importance to be coming under the scrutiny of the legislature. In this process, the executive will be made accountable to the legislature. That is how the public interest will be upheld. Okay, this is what the essence of the parliamentary form of democracy, the essence of the role of the presiding officers, right. In this context, let us understand this question. Okay, so role of the presiding officers of state legislature in maintaining order and impartiality, including in conducting legislative work and facilitating best democratic practices. Okay, right, maintaining order and impartiality. Okay, right. So we need to write in the introduction. Okay, in the presiding officers of state legislature play a significant role in facilitating legislative work due to their impartiality, or independent functioning. Okay, independent functioning, which forms the basis for effective functioning of legislature at the same time holding the executive accountable to the legislature. Okay, so this is how we need to write the introduction. Okay, so this introduction properly introduces this particular question. Okay, but this particular answer. The role of presiding officers of state legislative assembly play a significant role in facilitating legislative work due to their impartiality and independent functioning, which forms the basis for effective functioning of legislature, at the same time holding the accountability of the executive to the legislature. Right. So what is the role? So how the presiding officers will be able to maintain the order and impartiality in conducting their legislative work? This is the first part of this particular question. What is the role in maintaining order and impartiality? Okay, right. The presiding officers will help in legislative work in the following manner. So we need to write this kind of key statements in from the question itself. Thereby the examiner will be able to identify the dimensions that we have written in the answer. Okay, right. In what sense? In what manner? Okay, let us see this. Right. First and foremost important thing is we need to write the broader picture, how they will be able to ensure this order and impartiality. Okay, so the presiding officers will maintain order and impartiality. Due to their position in the house, due to their position in the house. Okay, because they are the heads of the house. They are the heads of the house. Okay, and the constitutional position of presiding officers such as in the form of A, being elected by, or we can say chosen by house on the basis of consensus. Actually, consensus is not there in the constitution, but this is what a president. Okay, it is a precedent. In the recent Lok Sabha, speaker selection, there was a bipartisan contest. Okay, but however, in the parliamentary form of democracies, the presiding officer must be chosen by the members of the house. Okay, that is why it is. We can say it is a consensus. Okay. Number 2, their removal is difficult. The removal is difficult. Okay, so that means they require to be removed by means of effective majority. Okay, see, their salary or allowances are charged on Consolidated Fund of India, right? Similarly, they are exempted from Anti-Defection Act. That means even they resign from their party, okay, in which they are members, so they do not attract the disqualification due to Anti-Defection Act. So this is what their position. Okay, that is why they will derive the powers. So in the capacity of, thus in the capacity of presiding officer, they help in upholding constitution, rules as well as conventions. Okay, thus in the capacity of presiding officer, they help in upholding constitution, rules and conventions, thereby they uphold the supremacy of legislature over the executive, right? Hence, so the role of presiding officer in the course of legislative work can be seen in the form of okay, right. So basically, what is a legislative work? So So basically the legislative work means we can say making laws, okay, making executive answerable, okay, and facilitating debates, helping the House to express its opinion. So this is how you can find the legislative work in different dimensions. Okay, right. So this is the way we can understand. Okay, right. Then the legislative work generally, I mean, what is that? The role of the presiding officer can be seen in the form of, right? For example, by giving interpretation of rules, conventions, or constitution within the House. Right, this will maintain the order of the House. Okay, not only that, by the power to give binding orders, right, by giving opportunity to every member without any discrimination. Because why? Because what is the reason? The reason is this: because being elected, chosen by the House on the basis of consensus, removal is difficult, and the salary allowances are paid by consult fund of state. Okay, and they are exempted from Anti-Defection Act. Because of this reason, the presiding officer is able to enforce the binding orders. He is able to give the opportunity to every member to without any discrimination by giving interpretation of rules and conventions, and as well as constitution, right? By maintaining proper conduct of members, okay, proper conduct of the members, by the power to take complaints over members, whether it could be public member or private member, regarding violation of ethics. Similarly, violation of privileges, violation of Anti-Defection Act. Okay. So on these respects, the speaker can invite various complaints. For example, if ethics are violated, the speaker can refer the matter to ethics committee. So there will be an ethics committee. Okay. Violation of privileges, there will be committee on privileges, violation of Anti-Defection Act, he can act as a quasi judicial authority, and he can decide the disqualification of the members, right? So this is how the speaker can facilitate the order and impartiality in the House. Okay, because everything is properly investigated by these committees particularly, so that it will eliminate the possibility for the partiality. Okay, right? And at the same time, with the help of he can enforce the speaker, we are taking the example of speaker can enforce the decision of, or we can say the opinion of the house, right? For example, if ethics committee has given a report, or privileges committee has given a report, based on that report the house may take a decision, may pass a motion for the expulsion of the member. Such expulsion can be enforced by means of by the speaker. This is how he will maintain the order and impartiality, thus facilitating the legislative work. Okay, and moreover, the speaker has discretionary powers, okay, to facilitate debates or to facilitate half an hour discussion, short duration discussion, okay, calling attention motion, etc. For example, during the question hour, speaker has a power to give the opportunity even for the other members. For example, if a member asks a question and a supplementary question can be asked by the same member, okay, but the speaker using his discretionary power to expand the opportunity for the members to expose the lapses on part of the executive, he can give the opportunity for the other members in the house. So that is also what discretionary power of the speaker. Okay, so half an hour discussion, short duration discussion, calling attention motion. So wherever the public interest is involved, he can be taking advantage of the existing rules, regulations and conventions for the better functioning and functioning of the legislatures in upholding the executive's accountability, right? Not only that, speaker or chairperson, they can constitute committees, parliamentary committees. These committees, by the power to constitute the committees on regular basis, what will happen? There will be more opportunity for the government, for the house to investigate the lapses on part of the government. Okay, so there are committees called department related standing committees, DRSs. Okay, so DRSs can be exposing the corruption or exposing the administrative lapses, exposing the inefficiency, etc. Okay, so that is one aspect. And another aspect is the speaker or chairperson of the house, they can also be constituting select committees. The select committees will also be helping in the legislative work. Why? Because if any bill is introduced into the house, the bill can be properly scrutinized by the select committees. Okay, the select committees or joint committees, so they will be facilitating better scrutiny of the bills. So that will also be facilitating this particular better legislative work by means of maintaining order and impartiality. The select committees generally consists of the ruling party members and opposition party members, and that will be creating a kind of a non-partisan environment. Okay, and particularly within the house, the speaker can innovatively use the power, okay, which is vested with him under the constitution by using adjournment, suspension of the session. Generally, suspension of the session can come only when there is no quorum. Absence of quorum can be the reasons for the suspension of the session of the house. Adjournment means postponing the session of the house. Whenever there is a disorderliness, definitely the speaker can make use of this. Okay, speaker can also reprimand the members. Speaker can also reprimand the members. Okay, reprimand means if any member violates the rules of the house or the basic conduct, the decorum of the house, definitely he can give the warnings or he can give the kind of a chiding to the members. Okay, that is how the things can happen, right? Speaker can decide whether the guillotine is required or not, guillotine motion, and he can also have the option whether to conduct a voice vote or division vote. So when to conduct the division vote, when to conduct the voice vote, it is the discretion of the sole discretion of the presiding officer himself, right? And the presiding officer can also conduct the secret session, secret sitting. This will also help in maintaining the standards of the legislature, because some sensitive matters needs to be discussed without the public visibility. Okay, so that is also upheld by this particular presiding officers, right? And moreover, the presiding officer can facilitate the participatory approach from the members. For example, if any member genuinely has a concern regarding the conduct of the house or conduct of the members or rules of the house, he can raise a point of order. So this point of order will be listened by the speaker, and the point of order will be if it is having any substance, the speaker has the power to enforce that particular rule and regulation in a given moment, right? This is how that will be giving a culture of impartiality and bringing orderliness into the house. Bringing orderliness. Orderliness means what? Orderliness means the compliance of the members with the rules of the house, the compliance of the members with the decorum of the house, decency of the house. You need to uphold the members' conduct matching the dignity of the house. So that is what called as orderliness. You will maintain the order means the rules, regulation and spirit of the legislative institutions must be upheld in a given instance. That is what called as orderliness. Okay. And secondly, impartiality means you need to give an impression that the presiding officer is not sided with any party. He is not sided with the ruling party nor with the opposition party. Okay, how you are able to see that means because speaker is having that kind of privilege in the house. Why? Because he is not removed easily. He is to be paid with the salary and allowances from the consult fund of the state. So like that, if any wrong conduct of the presiding officer is to be exposed, it requires always substantive motion. Okay. For this reason, speaker office will be enjoying that kind of supremacy in the legislative institutions. Because of that kind of supreme position, he will be able to uphold impartiality also. Moreover, he is exempted from the rules of the Anti-Defection Act, right? This is how he is able to maintain the order, the legislative work in the house. I hope you understood different dimensions. And the next important dimension here is, what is it? Facilitating the best democratic practices. Okay. So facilitating best democratic practices means what? Okay. Facilitating best democratic practices. So here, best democratic practice means what? Best democratic practice means the procedures or proceedings of the house must reflect the essence of or spirit of Constitution. The legislative work must reflect the constitutional morality. And constitutionalism. constitutional morality or constitutionalism. Okay, so it means legislature without violating the separation of powers, without violating separation of powers, okay, without violating supremacy of the constitution, the legislature has to conduct its work. The legislature has to conduct its work, right? For example, the speaker or the presiding officers will be able to speak easily. I mean, they will be able to consult. That can be reflected in the form of consultation with all party floor leaders. Okay, showing a gentlemanship, or we can say statesmanship in controlling or regulating both ruling party and opposition party members. Okay, not siding with any particular party, okay, and discharging his basic duties. Okay, for example, referring a bill to select committee, appointing opposition party leader as chairman of public accounts committee, right? Protecting the privileges of the house and members. Okay, right? Accommodating genuine concerns of opposition parties. Basically, opposition parties sometimes will become voiceless. So in that occasions, the speaker must rescue the public interest, even though the points are raised by the opposition party, right? So this is how you need to bring that kind of orderliness and impartiality, okay, and establishing a kind of a democratic culture, okay. So that means even we can also say the fundamental duties, because fundamental duties are very much important. Those are to be discharged by not only by citizens but also by the members of parliament and any kind of person or citizen of the country. So therefore, the fundamental duties must be discharged effectively by the members of parliament, that is members of state legislature also. So that aspect can be brought forth by the presiding officers. But however, there are challenges. What are the challenges? The presiding officers are showing the tendency of the leaders of largest party or leaders of the majority party. Basically, there is a leader of house, but despite that reason, the presiding officer not showing that kind of impartiality in their conduct. They are simply reflecting the views of the party in power, okay, right. This is not the feature of the parliamentary form of democracy. Not only that, not upholding Anti-Defection Act effectively, because they are not able to take the decision in the time-bound manner. Okay, so violating the spirit of the Constitution as well as Anti-Defection Act, right? And in the case of Karnataka, okay, what happened? The privileges of the house has been very much harsh with respect to journalists for highlighting the genuine concerns regarding the corruption, regarding the wrong conduct of the members in the house, right? In the case of Telangana, okay, a defected member has been appointed to the Public Accounts Committee chairperson. So this is also a departure from the expected role of the presiding officers. Okay, most of the time is spent on disruptions in the house. Okay, so the legislatures are losing their sheen in the views of the people, in the expectations of in the opinions of the people. Okay, because they are not conducting the proceedings of the house in a smoother manner. Rather, a lot of time is being wasted in the unnecessary political allegations or mudslinging politics. Okay, so these are various challenges, and very rarely speakers resign to their party membership actually. So that is also raising a serious doubt, right, whether these particular presiding officers are committed to their duties or not. Okay, whether the institution of speaker or institution of chairperson is truly achieving their foundational values, right? So therefore, we can write certain way forward. Okay, right? Way forward include the presiding officers should resign to their party membership. There must be a political consensus to streamline the proceedings of the house, right? Next, the Anti-Defection Act must be amended to mention about the timelines for action. So because of this reason, what will happen? Speaker will not be extremely powerful. It means the speaker, yes, speaker should have power, but power cannot be at the cost of responsibility. Both must be equal. Okay, right? And the presiding officers shall try to utilize a participatory approach in maintaining order in the house. Okay. The presiding officers shall bring a democratic or peaceful environment where the house can transact its business smoothly. Okay. Not only that, speakers or chairpersons shall uphold constitution and laws, not just in letter but also in spirit. Right. So this is how we can write way forward. Okay. So hopefully you understood various dimensions we have discussed till now. Okay. Kindly go through the entire video and try to make a notes out of this, so that those can be very much handy, because in the UPSC questions are repeatedly asked on same themes on different verbatim. So there is a difference only in the verbatim, not in the essence of the question. So that's why these videos are highly useful to the aspirants. Kindly understand the concept and kindly go through the minutes and try to write the notes, maintain a separate notes for all these questions and answers, and revise them very frequently, so that you will be able to write good answers in the examination. Thank you so much.